This is a tweet from Shams Charania. The headline here is Isaiah Stewart. You see it there. He has a 7-game suspension. Miles Bridges with 4 games. Diabate 4 games. Jalen Duren 2 games. So that is the breakdown now of the suspensions. And Isaiah Stewart there, speaking of the Pistons at the top with 7 games, you'd have to assume because he's a multi-time offender here in terms of a fight and being ejected. But let's react to this now that the suspensions are officially in for that fight that we saw break out on Monday night in this game. Go ahead, Stephen A.
I completely agree with this. No doubt about it. Miles Bridges, threw a couple of punches, got to get the 4 games. Diabate, he was out of control, had to be restrained, imitating Isaiah Stewart from back in the day when he was chasing after LeBron James. Okay, so you had to give him his 4 games. All right, Durham instigated it, mushed him in the face. You got to give him the 2 games. What I'm most pleased about is Isaiah Stewart and that suspension. And here's the problem. Here's the issue. I actually like the brother. He's a rough rider. He's a physical dude. I respect the hell out of him. I think that if he could keep his temper under control and channel it to keeping him on the basketball court, I think he will be a pivotal piece for the Detroit Pistons. But every time there's the slightest scuffle, is this brother ready to swing on people? Is this brother he came off the bench. He was not in the game. And it's like, you're looking at it, you have teammates. It's 7 or 8 dudes. Nobody gets off the bench but him. Nobody. He's always ready to fight. And it's like, yo, bro, do you want to be a UFC fighter? Do you want to be a boxer? Or do you want to be a basketball player? Because every time you turn around, that brother is in the picture looking like he's ready to swing on people. It's like you got to reel him in. Because if I'm an opponent, guys, and I'll end it by saying this. If I'm an opponent of the Detroit Pistons, and I know that the combination of Duren and Stewart is formidable, obviously, and they're going to win basketball games for you. Oh, y'all, I'm instigating something with Isaiah Stewart because it ain't going to be tough. It ain't going to be tough to do. I'm playing with that dude's mind. I'm going right at him to coax him into doing something that's going to get him ejected and suspended because he will do it. He will allow it. He's got to get himself under control. And JB is a great coach. And the Pistons have proven they've got a great organization. They should be very proud of what they're doing. And I really, really like Stewart. I would want him on the Knicks. I'm not throwing shade on him. I like the guy. But you got to reel him in. On too many occasions, he's just out of control. He deserved that 7-game suspension.
Go ahead, Shanae.
So what I'm thinking about this is coming off the bench is absolutely unnecessary. That's a safety hazard. We never condone that. And we understand. I was reading the body language on the sidelines. It's like his teammates knew that he was probably going to do that because this is his role. No matter what, he's going to be that guy that protects his team. But still, in this circumstance, when you are #1 in the East, at least you have a 6-game buffer in the loss column, 13 losses to 19 with the Celtics at the #2 spot. Maybe you can hold on. I like this news coming in the middle of our conversation about MVP because this is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity for Cade to really show what he can do. But it is a tough blow also for a squad that really needs to build experience in the regular season in order to, I heard you earlier, Stephen A. say, take down the Knicks. They feel like they can come out of the Eastern Conference. They can make it to the NBA Finals. Every game matters when you're pursuing an aspiration like that. And so when you make a mistake that egregious coming off the bench, that can cost your team as a solid role player, I do think this impact can actually be bigger than just one player missing 7 games. It can sort of derail a little bit of momentum, and that to me is the most costly.
This is incredibly soft for Stewart. Patrick Ewing took 1 step off the bench and got suspended for Game 6 of an NBA second-round series by Stern, and it cost him a second-round series against the Heat. 1 step. 1 step. He ran on the court and started and increased the scuffle, and he gets 7 games. That's ridiculous. Dave Stern somewhere is saying, Adam, show some. This is he's got to get 7 games is nothing in the NBA regular season. Ewing cost his team a playoff series, and he got a game, and it killed him. And he gets 7 games in the middle of February. That's absurd. He should have gotten 25 games for doing what he did. That was a joke.
Nah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, come on. Now, you stop it, Steve.
25 games. 25 games?
They lost.
25?
Knicks
Come on, man. Dougie, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Go look at Ewing.
No,
He took
25 games.
One step.
7 to 10. I agree with Shanae. 7 to 10. 25 games. Go ahead, Wendy. Dougie's crazy. Dougie's nuts.
If any of you thought anybody was getting more than this, you haven't been paying attention to NBA enforcement for the last 10 years. And I would say that the Hornets would suffer from losing some players here, but everybody behind them in the standings is tanking, so they'll be fine.
So Jalen Duren.
I want to say this real quick before we go.
Go ahead.
Before we go to break, I want to repeat myself in this regard. Ain't nobody rooting against Isaiah Stewart here. You understand what I'm saying? He's a valuable component to the Pistons. We're saying it to him because you gotta pay attention, Isaiah Stewart. They are going to target you because you lose your mind and you don't know how to control yourself. You're an easy target for an opposition come playoff time. If you're a coach and Detroit's front line is problematic for you, you send somebody out there to get him ejected. Easy. It ain't going to be hard because that's how easy he is to do that to. He's got to course correct and change some stuff with his temper. Otherwise, he's going to find himself booted out of a series at the most inopportune of times, like Doggy just highlighted, even though Doggy is utterly ridiculous.
No, I'm not.
With the 25-game suspension suggestion. Utterly ridiculous.
NBA All-Star Weekend is this weekend. Jalen Duren is an All-Star. He suspended 2 games, as we just saw from Shams Charania. There's no news yet on how this will impact his All-Star status. We will assume he's eligible.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he'll play. He's eligible.
It's not even that big of a deal. They don't even care.
Okay, and they'll serve a suspension after the All-Star game. Okay, here's our ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader loaded with star power. Jalen Brunson and the Knicks.
Years. Remember, he's only in his 3rd season. And Wendy, what did you remind us of Brian Windhorst and Monica McNutt? What did you remind us of Wembanyama again in his 3rd season, following in the footsteps of some of the great big men in the history of the sport in San Antonio?
Yeah, I mean, I know the game was a little different in terms of speed of play when Duncan played, but he's got more 40-point games now than Tim Duncan had in his, 18 seasons with the Spurs. So that's fascinating. And, you often hear so-and-so can't guard me. No, literally, they couldn't guard him. There was no possible way. Victor could have had as many points as he wanted in this game. I'm sure he would have loved to stayed out there more and put up more, but they have a back-to-back. In fact, they're on ESPN tonight at the Warriors. They wanted to protect him for this game. And look, San Antonio is a fascinating team. They have a couple of flaws. They were one of 3 teams at the deadline that did not improve their roster. They could have used some shooting. They want to play for the long haul, and they want to let this team develop. That said, when you have a player like this who can overwhelm your entire defense in a one-off setting, anything is possible, and he displayed all of his offensive skill in the 26 minutes he graced the court last night.
What are the right things to say about this Spurs team, Monica? I mean, the West is typically loaded. You got OKC, you got Denver, and a few other places that you might look, but there's nothing quite as tantalizing, I guess, as the possibilities of what San Antonio could be.
But here's, to me, Greeny, Wemby is the centerpiece, and it is fascinating. The things that he can do, we have not seen anyone of his size be able to do effectively, but around him, there's also quality guard play. There's Keldon Johnson. I mean, Stephon Castle. Like, we could go down the list, De'Aaron Fox, and they have, when they're playing their best basketball, we've all been fascinated with the matchup with the Thunder in particular this season, but they have the ability to make you feel them on both sides of the basketball. And so, yes, Wemby is the centerpiece, and he immediately raises the ceiling for this Spurs squad. But I also really like the way that they are developing, to Wendy's point that they didn't make a big move at the deadline. Like, they are competing at a high level. They're building a culture. They hang their hat on what they can do defensively, and offensively, they come at you